Welcome to Everyday Bytes.
When we look around at the world today, the sheer variety of human life is just, well, it's absolutely breathtaking, isn't it? Everywhere you go, you see this endless combination of appearances, personalities, and strengths. But have you ever stopped to wonder where all that incredible variety actually began? Was it just totally random, or was there a grand design behind the whole shebang? Well, today we're diving into this explainer to explore an ancient, really profound narrative that answers exactly that. We're going to look at the origin story of the first human being, Adam, peace be upon him. We're going to walk through the creation of humanity as this grand, epic story. It's a deeply intentional narrative that really gets to the core of who we are, why we're so fundamentally different from each other, and ultimately, what profound spiritual qualities every single one of us shares.
So it really all comes down to this one universal question. Why is humanity so incredibly diverse? Why do we all look, feel, and act so differently? People have literally been pondering this for centuries. We see countless different appearances across the globe, right? And we see wildly diverse attributes in the people we interact with every single day. Think about it. Some folks are just remarkably stoic, while others are super sensitive. Some have this unstoppable grit, while others bring a really gentle, nurturing calm to the room. To truly understand this, both the outside physical differences and our inner emotional landscapes, we kind of have to travel all the way back to the very beginning of the human story, long before there were any civilizations, borders, or societies.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the first human. Which brings us to part 2, gathering the earth. Okay, so picture this. To create this first human, Allah didn't just grab material from one single spot. Instead, angels were dispatched on a literal planetary quest across the globe. Their mission was remarkably specific. They were told to bring back a handful of soil. But wait, this wasn't just any handful of dirt swept up from a random garden. It was a collective handful that contained portions from all its varieties on Earth. Just pause and think about the profound nature of that for a second. Before humans ever even walked the Earth, the very blueprint for our entire species' diversity was gathered into this single planetary microcosm. This initial mix contained pieces of the whole world, just waiting to be molded into the foundation of the human family. And as part of that mission, the angels brought back Earth of vastly different colors. As you can see, they gathered soil that was a striking red, brilliant white, deep brown, and rich black. This is such a vital, honestly poetic detail in the story. It's not just a random fact about construction, it directly foreshadows the beautiful sweeping spectrum of human skin tones we see today. The palette for all human appearances wasn't something developed later on. No, it was inherently built right into the very first ingredients used to craft the first human being. Every shade and color that exists across humanity today, it was already right there in that original foundational handful of Earth. But the diversity went way beyond just color. The Earth they collected had wildly different physical textures and geographic origins too. They brought back soil that was soft and malleable, right alongside Earth that was hard and gritty. They gathered dirt from isolated mountains and expansive valleys. They collected from harsh and fertile deserts and from lush, fertile plains. It's a deeply resonant metaphor, really. Just like the Earth has its harsh, unforgiving terrains and its soft, nurturing landscapes, humanity was about to be infused with this exact same physical and temperamental range. The entire geographic personality of our planet was basically scooped up into this one foundational mixture. Now, let's move on to part 3, the tapestry of diversity. So, the angels didn't just collect this diverse, global soil at random. There was a profound purpose to the specific recipe. Look at this comparison. The immense variety of those earthly ingredients directly resulted in the incredibly varied appearances and attributes of Adam's descendants. It's a perfect illustration of cause and effect. The soil drawn from those harsh, rocky deserts maps directly onto human resilience, endurance, and grit. Meanwhile, the rich soil from the soft, fertile plains, that reflects the folks among us who have a gentler, more accommodating nature. It perfectly explains the deep psychological and temperamental diversity in literally everyone we interact with. We are physically and emotionally molded by the varied landscapes of the Earth itself. Ultimately, this means that humanity was destined to be as diverse as the handful of soil itself. Your unique appearance, your specific quirks, your individual emotional landscape, none of it is an accident. It's a direct, carefully intended reflection of the Earth's natural variety. The human family was designed from the get-go to be wonderfully complex and beautifully diverse. We were never, ever meant to be a monolith. We weren't meant to look the same, think the same, or react to the world in exactly the same way. Our vast differences were literally baked into the foundational recipe of humanity from the very first moment of creation. That brings us to part 4, Made in His Image. Now, this is where we get to a really profound but honestly commonly misunderstood part of the origin story. The texts tell us that Adam was created in his image. But here is the absolutely crucial thing to understand. This does not mean looking physically like Allah. The source texts are emphatically clear that Allah is totally unique, and we simply cannot form a visual image of him. All that physical diversity we just talked about, the colors, the textures, the appearances, that belongs strictly to the earth. The image being referenced here is something else entirely. It completely shifts our focus away from the physical body and right onto the metaphysical spirit.
So what does it actually mean? Well, being created in his image means being endowed with elevated, non-physical qualities that only Allah inherently possesses. While our physical bodies are fundamentally made of that diverse earth, our spirits were gifted with distinct characteristics that originate purely from the divine. It's like the installation of a higher consciousness. Allah gave the first human a remarkable set of spiritual faculties that, dirt and soil just could never provide. It's this divine breath of life that elevates a physical creature into a conscious, moral, and profoundly capable human being.
And these shared qualities are truly incredible. We're talking about mercy, love, and free will. While Allah possesses these attributes perfectly and inherently, Adam was granted a unique human capacity for them, completely setting us apart from the rest of creation. Think about it. We aren't just driven by pure instinct. We can choose to be merciful. We can choose to love. And we have the free will to carve out our own unique paths. This right here is the ultimate climax of the creation story. Humanity is this breathtaking combination of wildly diverse earthly soil brought to life with elevated, unifying divine attributes. Which leads us to our final section, part 5, our shared human legacy.
Let's bring this ancient epic right into the present day. When we look at texts like Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Hijr, and the Tafsir al-Razi, we see exactly where this rich tradition comes from. As the quote mentions, Adam was the first human being, created from a handful of soil containing portions from all its varieties on earth. These sources remind us that our physical differences, they aren't something to overcome or ignore or erase. They're a deliberate divine design meant to be exactly as they are. But at the exact same time, our spiritual capacity to love, to show mercy, and to use our free will, that's a direct shared inheritance from this singular moment of creation. It perfectly bridges the gap between ancient theology and how we see our fellow human beings today.
So, we've seen that our vast differences in appearance and nature are an intentional, beautiful tapestry woven from the earth itself. We are absolutely meant to be diverse. But underneath all that earthly variety, our capacity for free will, for profound mercy, and for love, that's our shared divine legacy. It is what unites every single one of us across the globe. So I want to leave you with this question to really think about. How are you using your inherited qualities of free will, mercy, and love today? Thanks so much for joining me to explore this fascinating explainer. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and definitely remember the remarkable shared origins of the people all around you.
Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Don't miss the next Bytes.